I was busy.
I was busy as well.
Yeah, and so it was just, one of those things.
School's out or what?
School's out, so I got a little spare time before, the next thing that I do. I'm always doing something.
Well, so August is semester starts up again? Because
Yeah.
you teach internet classes, right?
Everything.
Everything.
I teach everything.
Okay, so, so for those that are watching, no, she's not teaching Afrocentric nationalism. You're teaching
Everything.
everything. So, okay, cool. So that'll work out. But hey, you guys, welcome to the Don't Believe the Hype. We are in the inside, away from the studio. It is very hot inside the studio, so we're not going to do that in the summertime. Donovan Sadiq, Demetra K, Don't Believe the Hype, and here we go again. What is the topic? And I want to get this clear with everybody. I am not a Kamala Harris basher.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you're not a fan.
No,
like,
well,
what?
I'm definitely not a fan, but everybody keeps misconstruing, how I perceive her and how a lot of other black media is perceiving her. We're just telling you this woman's record, it's out there.
No, I don't think, see, and that's the thing, too. People think that we are bashing her. It's not that we're bashing her. People say, well, also the other criticism is you don't do it to everybody else. Well, because we know what everybody else's thing is. We expect those things, whatever those things are, from white people. We don't expect for them, even though they're Democrat, because it's something about them, but we don't expect for them to embrace black people. But we do expect black people, allegedly, so they say they're black, we do expect for them to embrace black people. Right. So Kamala gets up and says, since I'm the only black woman on the stage, I should be able to address racism. Okay.
And she didn't address it at all.
I mean, you should be, like, if you're, touting that you're this black woman,
which she's never done before.
Then you should be, riding for the cause, riding for the culture, and you don't do that. You being Kamala, she doesn't do that at all. She, in fact, runs away from it. As you talked about the video earlier, I'm not going to do something just for black people.
See, and the funny thing is, there was a Essence Festival, which is, owned by the white media and all that other good stuff. And, it's another spot. Go girl, you guys just love being mentally masturbated to see how great you guys are, because it feels good, yes, women are the backbones of all kinds of civilizations. I don't care where it's at. Without the woman, there is no civilization. And if you don't protect your woman, you have no civilization.
Right.
But you guys take it to another fucking level.
Well, I don't know all the dynamics of black women loving to be mentally masturbated. I'm still trying to get my mind around that whole concept. But I think for the most part, anybody who's running for politics, they say they do it for what reasons? Power, prestige, money, And so she's probably doing it for the prestige, probably a little bit of the power.
Okay.
And so when she snatched, because that's what she did, the power from Biden on the first debate night, of course, her head has been, blown up a lot more.
Well, but the funny thing is, and don't get me wrong, there are a lot of educated black women out there, and yes, you got all these degrees and stuff. She went to Howard and learned to be a side chick and all that other good stuff.
Is that what she learned at Howard?
Obviously, I'm not mad at her for using what she got to get what she wanted. That's a smart thing to do. If I was a woman, I wouldn't say I would be a hoe. I'd just be very popular.
Okay.
Okay. So, she's sitting there doing all this stuff, and everybody's like, oh, Kamala. But what people don't realize on that stage was she calls Joe Biden out for his discriminatory rhetoric.
I know you're not a racist.
Right. Which is, if she's implying he is.
Right. Yeah.
She calls him out for his policies, but yet she used those very policies to hurt black women and poor women of color here in the state of California.
Right. And like I said, it was really a tragedy. Just coming from a PR standpoint, that how many candidates were up there with her?
10.
9?
Yeah, 9.
So there were 9 other people up there. 9 other people let her get away with that. That was shocking to me.
Right.
That 9 other people didn't call her on it. Okay, I get it.
Remember, a lot of the mics were cut.
But damn, something. When they did get an opportunity to speak, hey, I just want to address, Senator Kamala, who also has a record of harming black people.
Well, again, if you think about it, that's the policy. That's the Democratic policy. You want people, they're not going to speak on somebody that's going to be hard on black folks.
Yeah, but I mean, hell, if you're trying to get the nomination, you know, now Tulsi Gabbard,
That's
she's
the policy.
doing it.
Yeah.
You know, she's calling her out, but down. How long ago was that debate? Almost 2 weeks ago?
Almost 2 weeks ago. Yeah, almost 2 weeks ago.
Why y'all waiting that long?
No, but the sad thing is, these black women keep falling up behind her. And I know a lot of you black women out there have sons, and you have daughters, and you have grandsons, and so on, so on, and so forth. How in the world can you give your vote to a woman who is an arm of white supremacy?
Because we are in love with symbolism. Symbolism in that she can be the first black woman.
She's not black though.
But I'm just saying this is what people are saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people who are, you know, voting for her or want to vote for her. She can be the first black woman president. She's a lot like Obama. She would be able to take on Trump in a debate.
I doubt it.
I don't think so either,
Yeah,
because
I doubt it.
I mean, like I said, Trump is that kid in the sandbox that will throw sand in
Kick
your
sand in your
eyes.
face.
Yeah, you know. So I don't think she's gonna be able to handle him. And now, you know, I'm not in support of neither one of them, but just because that's what I do, I totally see Trump giving it right back to her. How dare you talk about somebody else's record and you've locked up. And while I'm freeing black people,
Right.
you locked them up.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. I mean, he's going to use it and just dog her out.
Mhm.
And, you know, let's face it, she's not going to get a lot of votes out of California, other than, you know.
Because we know her.
Right.
We know
so
her.
if this state turns Trump, it's over. And like you said a couple weeks ago, if a white woman couldn't do it, a highly qualified racist white woman couldn't do it, how is this woman of color going to do it?
Well, yeah, listen, these white folks talk a good game, but ain't no way in hell, wherever that is,
And remember,
they go in that booth and vote.
right, and remember 80% of black women gave their vote to Hillary Clinton.
Right, but the thing about this too, if you want to just kind of like tie the whole reparation, because you know, numbers are skewed, statistics are skewed, or whatever the case is. But just think about the whole reparations debate. Over 80% of white people are against. No, is it probably like 90 or something like that?
96%
Against
probably.
black people having reparations. So if that many people are against black people having reparations, do you think they're gonna give us another black president? Black president. And I'm saying, like, okay, let's just get this out the way. Kamala, let's say she says she's black. She is not technically African American. I guess that's where the argument is.
Yeah, she is an idiot.
You know, right.
Her family came here, her parents came here as students. That means coming from another country, when you come to this country as a student, you are privileged.
Kamala is just, she's doing what Disney is doing and what Nike is doing.
And what's that?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Because, okay, a week ago, during 4th of July or whatever, Nike came out with the tennis shoe with the 13.
Betsy Ross, yeah.
Yeah,
Betsy Ross.
the Betsy Ross flag. Kaepernick said something, and then they drew the shoe back, and white people got mad.
Right.
What happened? Nike made $3 billion from Tuesday to Friday with all that controversy, right? And so Disney, what is Disney doing now? Ariel's now going to be black. And we talked about this on the show on Sunday, but for one moment, don't you think that Disney does not have a boardroom full of, and Nike too, very smart people to say, gosh, you know, what would happen if we have a black Ariel? You know, people are going to get mad because they're going to say Ariel's going to be white. Okay, so how does that tie into Kamala? Just like Nike and Disney are exploiting, what do you call it? Racism, if you will. They're exploiting racism.
Controversy stuff.
Racism. Black people. Kamala's doing the same thing. Now she's totally embracing black. Was it a couple months ago? Nobody was really sure what she was because she wasn't even saying it. But now she saw that she was having some issues. Now she's full on saying I'm black.
Right.
So she's doing what every other
I'm
company
not gonna
does.
do that for black people.
But she's doing what every other company or corporation does, and that's exploit black people and our emotions.
Right.
So they know, like with Nike, oh, we're gonna go buy the shoe because you know how dare them. Yes, Kaepernick is right. Boo boo boo. No shade to Kaepernick. I love Kaepernick, but we gonna go out there and spend some money. Also, Nike knows that overall, white people are not making them rich. It's black people.
Right.
So we'll risk pissing off white people who are going to buy New Balances and whatever, and then we piss off the black people. Disney, the same thing. They're going to do the same thing like with the Black Panther. We went out in droves and made Disney all this money. And so now that, white people are mad that Ariel's black people are going to embrace it even more. We're going to have the Ariel t-shirts. And we
are the consumer base of this country.
And the same thing with Kamala. She knows that we are in love with symbolism too. So she's going to now embrace being a black woman. And then everybody else is supposed to jump on board. And you've seen a little bit of a shift. Black people, I'm gonna vote for her. She a black woman, and she gonna be able to stick it to Trump. And
see, but here's the thing. At the end of the day, let's say she does become the nominee. At the end of the day, she's not gonna beat Trump, and we're gonna be back to the same another 4 years.
I agree with you.
Trump. So
we could be wrong, but we seriously doubt it.
I mean, look at these nominees that the Democratic Party has put up. Nancy Pelosi refuses to do her job.
Right.
She protects Trump more so than anybody else.
Yep, she does.
Her job is to impeach, regardless if it's going to get through the Senate or not. That's her job.
And then Maxine Waters sits on the head of the Finance Committee, and she'll throw a little something out there every once in a while. He needs to be impeached. It's like, what the fuck you waiting on?
Right.
Excuse my French. What are you waiting on? We're talking about these two women who are at the helm of things in the Democratic Party.
Women.
But I'm saying they're at the helm of
women.
They could drop the gauntlet down
women.
if they wanted to. What they got?
Keyword, women. You guys are emotionally fucked up.
Well, and not only that, but to further your point, because they're women, and Trump has allegedly done a lot of things to women. What are y'all waiting on?
That's my. Thank you.
What are you waiting on? What are you waiting on to call this dude? Like, not call him to the carpet, but put his ass under the carpet. What are you waiting on?
And that's what kills me. You got women in power, in government, that can infect laws and change laws, and yet, is she doing anything about the witness, women's advocacy? I mean, Nancy Pelosi is doing nothing, and this is why I ask people.
We're talking.
Yeah, this is why I ask people.
Now she's fighting with another one, AOC.
AOC. And, she's going to dismiss AOC and those four progressive women. But here's the thing. What has Nancy Pelosi passed? Nothing.
Gas.
Yeah. They've been in office for 6 months, a little over 6 months, and they've practically done nothing in regards to their job.
And like you said, too, she's fighting with, the four senators, AOC, Ileana Omar.
What's her name? Presley from Texas.
Yeah, the other.
I know you're talking about.
I know. Yeah, I can't think of her name right now. But you're fighting with them, and they're true progressives. Like, yo, let's get something done. You sitting up here with your old ass, holding the space, and you're not moving anything.
Did you hear what Pelosi said?
Which time?
Well, she said this. I have been working on something progressive. She got some sign in her thing 30 years ago. That is the stupidest thing you could ever say, because if you got that sign, that progressive sign, or whatever the subject it was, a progressive issue it was, you're saying either you just gave up on it, and if you're still working on it, it's incredible.
She's mad because there's what you call...
No, she's mad because they're representing their constituents.
But that's what I'm saying. In prison, not that I've ever been, but there's a new fish on the line. There's
too sweet.
Right.
Too sweet.
So you got new representatives or whatever, congresswomen coming in and actually trying to get stuff done, and that's taking the limelight away from the old hats. Like I almost say old hats, but yeah, like your Pelosi's and your Maxine Waters, who've been getting away with just talking, but now you got these progressives in there. Like, what you saying? You ain't saying shit but a little bit.
Right.
And we actually need to get stuff done.
Done.
I was reading an article right before we came on here. It says that Jaden Smith, who is the son of Will Smith, who has done a lot of great things.
Oh, the kid that's confused sexually.
Well, maybe he is, but he is providing water for Flint. He owns, I don't know if you've ever seen the company Just Water. That's his company. He's also rolling out food trucks to feed the homeless. And so he's doing a whole host of things that actually help people. And they said that Jaden Smith has actually done more for Americans or, the poor than Congress has. And that's sad. Like this kid who was, 20?
He just turned 21.
He's a baby. And he gets it. But they're out there enriching themselves. Yeah, I mean, they got the resources. I mean, they got the purse strings of America.
You guys want to see a good thing that talks about how government works? Watch The Distinguished Gentleman by Eddie Murphy. Very pretty much shows you how it works. You can do stuff like we can do stuff here. It's criminal.
Right.
But look at Donald Trump. Above the law, all the people that like left the administration, these guys are all criminals.
Got records and shit.
Right.
Yeah.
But because they work for the government, there's no crime.
Right. I mean, even up until right now with Jeffrey Epstein, the notorious child sex predator, who's been rearrested for charges. Yeah, they arrested him yesterday or what?
Yeah, they free him.
Finding child pornography with, I guess, nude underage girls.
Yeah,
well, you guys know was a couple years back or a few years back or so, he was arrested and charged and convicted.
No, he wasn't convicted. It was a no conviction.
He was convicted, but it was like a slap on the wrist where he didn't have to.
No. It was a no prosecution deal.
Something like that, where he didn't have to register as a sex predator, even though he, it was evidence that he was guilty of doing this,
Yeah, it was a backdoor deal.
Right, because what was it, Acosta
who's a labor secretary.
Yeah, was in on, I guess, making a decision, and so it
This
all
is how it works.
all tied together. But it's like, Trump's name has come up. But in regard, not even just this week, but before.
But here's what killed me about people. Why is anybody shocked that Trump's name has come up in
I'm not shocked, but it's like,
by the pussy is his
I know,
thing.
but I'm saying, okay, so women aren't safe, okay, whatever. Not that I'm saying whatever. Y'all don't want to protect women, even though a copious amount of women have said Trump has done ABC.
And there's a copious amount of women in Congress that could do something about it.
And he's even said himself, grab him by the pee and all this other stuff. We've heard that he raped a 13-year-old before, and that he's running circles with this Jeffrey Epstein dude. And it's probably not unlikely that he's also involved in the sex trafficking or whatever it is, being with minors. In addition to, it's got like connect the dots. The thing in Florida with was it the massage parlor?
Yeah, the massage parlor, Robert Kraft. They just had a party at the Treasury Department. Robert Kraft was in attendance.
But I'm saying, Trump was also, wasn't he?
Yes.
He
knew the lady that goes to Mar-a-Lago. It's all connected.
But at some point in time, and I know we're kind of stuttering here because we're trying to connect the dots. But at some point in time, because I think my daughter was asking me about it. People are going to say, "Oh, well, he didn't do it." I said, "Of course, they're going to say, well, if it came out that Trump had something to do with the girls, well, they lied and said they were 18.
Well, no.
How was he supposed to know they were 18?
No. Trump's main defense is this. No, look at her. I wouldn't rape her. I'd rape her, but I wouldn't rape her.
Can't see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like he says that kind of stuff. He's like, he of course that's not even Trump's type. There's no way he did it.
Yeah, I raped that one, but not that one. Look at her.
But
crazy.
I don't fault Trump. I mean, I fault Trump because he's douchebag. Don't get me wrong. Right. I fault the people who.
Let it go.
I mean, Trump is the modern day
mental illness. Nero.
He's the modern day Jim Jones.
I think he's more of a Nero. Remember Nero went mad in Rome?
Yeah, but I'm saying Jim Jones and that he could tell people anything. Like I believe he could literally tell his supporters, drink this Kool-Aid. Well, it's got a little shit in it, but don't worry, it's good for you, and they would drink it.
Well, it's kind of funny though. He is actually showing, and this is what I got out of it, that laws don't apply to them. You know what I mean? It's like he's above. It's like, no, I'm rich. It doesn't. There's two, and he's showing it to you. He's showing it to us. He's saying there's a system for rich people. What about that kid that just got off?
Oh, the one with the judge said.
Yeah, and it ruined his life.
Yeah, now the judges they calling for his suspension or something. Yeah, they're gonna revisit the case. Yeah.
See what I'm saying? There's two sets of justice here.
Right.
It just again, Nancy Pelosi, she is the biggest detriment to Donald Trump. She said she's not going to do her job.
And I mean, just going back, to Kamala, I think it's important, especially for us as black people, not people of color, but black people, to realize, and I don't know where people who are watching this, we're not necessarily having to change your mind because you already know.
No.
But Kamala cares nothing for the culture.
No.
It's nothing for black people at all. Kamala is a culture vulture. That's what she is. She's using the culture to gain. Because if you ever notice, you ever watch her speak or hear her speak, she not like, okay, recently she came out with this thing she's pledging was 100 million.
Yeah, no, 100 billion for housing for black folks.
Yeah, housing for black people. But it's like,
It's
okay,
talk.
yeah,
It's
that's what I'm
talk.
saying.
It's talk.
But you wasn't saying none of that, before when people were asking you.
And then when they ask for specifics, it's like Elizabeth
Right,
Warren. You're just
right.
throwing stuff out there. I'm going to do an executive order for women of color. None of these candidates can address specifically black issues.
Right, so that's going to be her bone. But the crazy part is, and to your point, there is no specifics about her housing initiative for black people. Well, first of all,
Congress.
Okay, it's got to get through
And
Congress.
that's not going to happen.
But black people ain't even really able to buy houses in droves like that anyway.
You got to have wealth.
Right, we got to address that first.
Okay, and I want everybody to remember this. A lot of people kept skipping over this in the debate. The last thing the moderator asked them is, what's the first thing you're going to do?
Immigration.
What did she say? DACA, number one. And I'm going to do a tax cut for the middle class. Okay, stop right there with the middle class. How many black people are in the middle class?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
Middle class barely exists anyway.
So if you're listening to me right now on the podcast and on YouTube, and you know you're not middle class, and you know this woman has locked up and done nefarious things in the black community, why would you give her your vote? She's not going to do anything to help you. And here's the soundbite, her saying, what? I'm not doing anything specifically for black people? What? She said that. She said
But
that.
what I do for everybody, black people gonna benefit. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna sit up here and do anything and
Right.
do something specific
She
for
said
black
that.
folks.
She said that. Let's do the math. If you're already behind economically and you do something for everybody, you're still behind.
But listen, basically what she said was, listen, white folks, you ain't got nothing to worry about with me. I'm not gonna do nothing special for them Negroes.
What did Joe Biden say? Systematically, the thing is, the system's not going to change under me.
Right.
He said that to his donors.
That's basically saying, white folks, you ain't got to worry about.
Right.
I'm not giving those Negroes nothing.
Nothing.
But that's kind of, it don't sound like I'm not really going to do, I'm not out and out saying I'm not going to do
Right.
nothing for them. So the Negroes that's going to vote for me anyway, and not to be disrespectful, dead anyway, that's going to go over their heads.
And here's another thing. You guys got to listen to the language, okay? If you speak Spanish and you speak Chinese, everybody's got their own dialect, right? Politics has its own dialect. I could promise you by executive order, I'm going to do these things, right? That's a promise. Now, what happens every time Obama tried to use executive orders and the Republicans were like, fuck no.
Right.
We're going to jump your shit and you're going to pull it back. Or the politician can say, well, I tried executive order and I know that these guys are going to override it, and so you don't get nothing, but I tried.
And not only that, too, to your point, like a lot of everything for the most part has to go through Congress.
Money, anything with money has to go through Congress.
Kamala knows that the way things are, Congress is not going to approve nothing for black people specifically. So, but it sounds good. I'm not really trying to
Get
do
my
it.
hopes up.
She's trying to. Yes, she'll get her hopes up, and I'm not really trying to do. If I'm Kamala, I'm not really trying to do it. I'm just trying to get in the door.
Right.
And then once I get in there, and I kind of just can't pass that. Oh no, we're not passing. See, I tried.
Well, again, we have this problem in the Supreme Court right now. Why didn't Obama fight for his Supreme Court pick? Why did he do that? He let Mitch McConnell take that Supreme Court pick. Oh no, the American people, no, that's your job as president. You have a right to do that. He should have challenged Mitch McConnell and gone to the Supreme Court and said, this guy's blocking my judicial nominee. I have a right to put somebody in there. Now we have a right-wing Supreme Court, which is now threatening women's rights and health care and all these other things. And you got to play three-dimensional chess and all this stuff. It's all a game, and these people don't care.
Right.
They don't care.
That's why it's hard for me to get excited about the whole voting. People get mad talking about, oh my gosh, are you going to help Trump stay in? And I'm like, well, we ain't dead yet. I'm not saying that I think Trump is a great guy, but we ain't died yet.
Right.
So far, what's another 4 years going to hurt us? In fact, I think, this is just my opinion, some people get mad, but it is what it is. In another 4 years, 6 at this point, I guess, that really might continue to wake black people up. when we see that all we got is us. We need to stop depending on the system, politicians, and all them to do for us what we really should be doing for ourselves. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't get reparations, because we should. But I'm talking about in the meantime, in between time, I think the Trump presidency really is going to wake us up, because as we see, a lot of things are getting worse.
Yeah, but it's waking the younger people up, but it's not waking up. Oh, I'm Martin Luther King.
Yeah, they think, but we just keep voting Democrats in there. They're gonna help us. Like, they ain't helped you yet.
Yeah, they haven't helped us yet. What's really going on here, Mr. Lewis?
And so they're looking for someone like Kamala
to continue the.
I guess she gonna get in there because she stood up and talking about what as the only black woman on the stage.
Which
I guess that's supposed that's she gonna do something.
but look, you do those little sound bites. Y'all love that shit.
But then the crazy part is too, y'all come on, y'all really can't be that like just low frequency. I'm trying to be really nice. She talked about busing. Like, how relevant is busing?
Exactly nowadays. And then get this. They've already debunked the school that she was at before she even got there was already integrated.
And not only that, if you really think about something like busing, what was the purpose of busing?
To get black kids to better school.
I mean, how many times have you heard black people, I'm going to send my child to a better school. I'm going to send my child to a better school. I mean, so I'm saying she picked busing to make that his cross to bear. Right. But if you think about the whole concept of busing, which was during segregation, I guess, if you will.
No, it was a little bit after.
I know, but I'm saying,
in that area.
Yeah, but so he was doing it to. Not that I'm defending Joe Biden, because I'm not voting for him either. But he was doing it to integrate. I'm trying to see where actually, what I'm saying. And then I read an article too where Kamala was like, well, she said it again, I don't think he's racist, and I believe he's sorry, but I'm not, really I'm paraphrasing, able to forget his whole stance on busing. So I'm like, okay, this broad gonna ride this whole thing till the wheels fall off.
See, and here's the sad thing, it's just so sad. Just like Americans don't read. You don't want to read the Mueller report. You don't want to go back and do your homework, so that's why the black media, the new black media, we're out here trying to wake you guys up and resurrect the dead like we did the Sunday before.
Yes.
Our job is to resurrect the dead, because we're the resurrectors.
Yep.
This woman, her parents came here as students. They did not live in the ghetto. The school she went to was an elite school. She went to school with white kids, predominantly.
Right.
She was not bused anywhere. Because every time they try to ask her, okay, show us proof of your bus. At that age, you don't bus your kids. How are you going to bus up? Okay. How old is Kamala, Harris? Let's do the math.
55, something like that, 55, 56?
Yeah, I think she's about 55.
Yeah.
Let's say about 55. So that means she was born in 1964.
Roughly.
Roughly, about 1964. So she's born in 1964. She got bused, her parents got together in 68. They came here in the early 70s, right? So let's say she's at school age 5, something like that. So let's say 73.
So 73 should have been about 9?
Yeah, about 9. So something like that. Let's just give her some number. Give or take her 2 or 3 years.
Right.
The kids that young didn't get bused.
Well, she's 55. She's only about 7 years older. Yeah, so 7 years older than me. Right.
So 6 years older than me. So kids that young didn't get bused. And remember, her mother is of the high Indian class.
And her dad was too, right? Her dad is Jamaican Indian. Yeah.
So, you think a high Indian lady is in a foreign country is going to let her child be bused far away from her? In a foreign land?
Well, I mean, I don't know, but I'm just saying, even if
they're professors at Berkeley?
Well, I'm saying, even if she was bused,
But she wasn't.
But I'm saying, you picked that to have, there's so many more things you could have talked about. But wait, hold on, cut you off. I'm going to tell you why she didn't talk about Joe Biden's record as far as the crime bills and stuff.
Because she's using it.
Right.
She's using it.
Right, and she also has, so that's why she picked something like busing and then tried to get, so you also look at it too. Kamala, she didn't use Joe Biden's busing moment to, for the culture, if you will. She used it for herself. Me, look what it did to me.
But if you look at all of her elections, when she ran for Attorney General here in the state of California, she ran right of the Republican nominee.
Right.
I'm harder on crime
Right.
than this
And
guy
that's what they
is.
were saying, yeah.
You know,
That's what they said. She was. They was like, wait, okay.
yeah, you're
who's
the
actually-
Democratic
yeah,
nominee,
who's
aren't
the
you?
conservative up here? Right.
So she doesn't care. And if you look at her record, she says, check my record. I mean, I couldn't believe that she got up there and said, you know, she was for body cams. You know, she actually said that during the debate.
She is a liar. Kamala is a liar.
When they asked her for, they asked her office for the, when she was the DA of San Francisco, they said, give us the names of all these corrupt cops. She refused to do so.
Right.
I mean, everything that came up, she was against it.
But I just want to know from black people, why do we continue to fall for that? Like, she's a blatant liar. You don't even have to be looking for the stuff, because I read a lot of articles and stuff, and a lot of times I'm scrolling through my, what do you call it, news feed, not on Facebook, but just my other news feed, and different articles will come up, so it's not even that I'm looking for it. These people are debunking everything she's saying, and I'm like, why can't we just, like, read for ourselves that this lady is not who she says she is?
And again, don't get me wrong, people. Like I said, I'm not bashing Kamala. I'm trying to give you the information here. This woman is not of the ADOS people. Barack Obama is not of ADOS person. When his grandmother died, she left him $500,000. Okay?
Right.
Don't get me wrong. He's a good guy. Went to become a advocate and stuff, and was in the community and all that good stuff. That, you know, that's a different thing. But his experience isn't the same as our experience.
Right.
And if you don't come from our experience, how do you have this person champion your issues that give you
Well, I mean, then also, you know, Obama's people's own slaves as well.
Right, exactly.
Said his grandma, great-grandma, great-great somebody.
Your good buddy Mitch McConnell said today,
Me and Baraka, we got the same thing. His people own slaves, my people's own slaves, and we both disagree with black people getting reparations. I was like, damn.
Wow. I have a question for you.
Sure.
Why is it that you have a problem with me getting reparations, getting my money, and getting my check? Have you noticed that all your white liberal friends, all of them, because all of my so-called white liberal friends, they're against reparations.
Yeah, mine too. But the thing is this, and this is really where the truth manifests itself, is because while, and Malcolm X said it perfectly, white people are, like, y'all can be friendly, but there's a difference between being friendly and somebody being your friend. And this whole Trump presidency and the reparations debate has really exposed who has really just been being friendly to you. And they don't want black people to get reparations because, for one, they never saw black people as worthy, like, or even as humans in general. Which is why a lot of times you see a lot of these posts on social media when a black gets murdered in cold blood, especially by the police. What were they doing before?
Right.
Oh, if they only would have just listened. Even though they were listening, you know. Also, is that, well, we're used to you guys being the underclass, the underdog. There's no way we're going to actually allow
you to catch up to us.
To catch up to us, and, you know, then, you know, we'll be even, or, you know, whatever the case is.
But look, they don't want us
There's
to have
white. This is a white false idea of white superiority,
Right.
white supremacy.
Right, but they don't want us to have it, but yet you'll cut a $300 million package to illegal aliens and put them on the dole and everything.
You gotta go beneath the surface. And that is, you know, especially in California, there's a majority of Hispanics here. Eventually, if we make all of them legal, guess who we now have as a permanent voter? It's Mexicans. We have them like black people. We know black people, you know, it'd be, you know, they would never not vote for us as a whole.
Right.
But now if we get Hispanics as a majority.
Well, I have a theory on that. I really think that they're going to the Hispanic people because a lot of us are waking up. We got to replace one with the other, you know, and it's going to take us a while to wake up. And so while they're still asleep, they being black people, let's go ahead and do all this stuff for the Mexicans. And the Mexicans, just like, I can't remember, you always quote the guy who says something about if you make the poorest white person. Oh, right. If you make the poorest white person
believe that he's better than
yes,
the best black.
The black person, right? He's still white.
Yeah, something like that. So, so I guess what I'm trying to say is, if we give all these illegals these rights and stuff, they're gonna know it was us. Because especially now you have the polar opposite is Trump, who wants to build the wall, who wants to go having an ICE raid, and all this other stuff. And so the Democrats are coming off as a savior. Oh no, we don't want to have the kids in the cages. Let's send all this money to the border. Oh, it's horrible what they're doing.
But you won't send any money to the hood.
It's called the appeal to emotions. That is a real thing, you guys. When you appeal to someone's emotions, that happens every day of your life.
Instantaneous.
Yes, you watch TV. You see something, a hamburger or something. You wasn't thinking about eating no hamburger, but they got the music, they got the sizzling of the charbroil, and then you want it.
Or another good example, an alien comes down from space named E.T., and you fall in love with them.
Right.
And
it's an appeal to emotion. So we can appeal to the Hispanics and then, oh my God, they're so terrible, we feel so sorry, we're gonna get you everything you want. Then eventually when they get everything they want, because they are, like you said over here, they don't need to be legal to have a driver's license.
Yeah, they don't have to be legal to get on the public assistance.
Yeah, so you give them everything they want. Eventually, they're gonna, when they think of a savior, who are they gonna think of? The Democrats. The Democrats. They're gonna think of it. And so, I get why they're doing it. And they're like, we ain't never had to show black people nothing.
Right.
Never.
They're gonna give us our vote no matter what.
So we listen. We gonna send all this money to the border, even though black people asking for reparations.
Right.
We know they won't demand.
And speaking of the money that went to the border, guess what 4 congressmen voted not to send the money to the border?
Who?
AOC, those 4 women, Iman, whatever her name is, and Presley, and all those 4 ones. Nancy Pelosi was upset at them because of that. They put her on the spot. But they were like, wait a minute. We're not going to vote to send money to these people, and it's not going to improve. Nancy Pelosi has given Donald Trump everything he's wanted.
Yeah.
Everything.
I'm surprised that she caved, or she stood her ground rather, with the shutdown. I'm surprised.
I mean, it's just she's being exposed. But so this is what I, and okay, my mom's part of Generation Fail. Your mom's part of, our parents are part of Generation Fail. And my mom hates that. She goes, it's you can't, what's it called, ageism?
Yeah.
When you discriminate.
Ageism.
But the thing is, you get a certain age, you shouldn't be in there. I mean, Donald Trump is 70-something years old. His teeth are rot now. It's obviously he has a mental issue. Something's going on there. I'm not saying, cut everybody off. But what I'm saying is, Nancy Pelosi is there for her grandizement, not to do anything. I mean, like I tell you guys,
it's the power.
Yeah. What legislation has Nancy Pelosi done? Let's talk about Dianne Feinstein. Did you know that Dianne Feinstein, while the mayor of San Francisco, fought to keep the Confederate flag flying above the state capitol, or the San Francisco Capitol, or the City Hall, whatever it was? Look that stuff up. This woman is a Republican in Democratic disguise. And didn't Dianne Feinstein, a Democrat, say reparations, slavery, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
We need to move on.
Right.
But yet you got a $3 billion, your husband got a $3 billion contract for a rail system that's not going to be built.
And that people have been waiting on to be built.
Right.
Right.
And like I said, Nancy Pelosi, legislator now, hate the Kennedys or like the Kennedys. Do you guys realize Ted Kennedy, the little brother, has done more in government than his brother who was even president? Ted Kennedy's name, that's why he was called the Lion of the Senate. Because he was involved in everything. He helped Romney care.
Well, in all fairness to JFK, didn't really live that long.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is in government.
But
in government, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
You have to, regardless of the circumstances, this guy did a lifelong thing of service.
Right.
That's why it was called the Lion of the Senate. So when you think of Ted Kennedy, you could name all kinds of legislation that he was behind.
Right.
That he put. Nancy Pelosi, name me one. Her claim to fame, and she says it all the time. I raise a lot of money.
For who though?
The Democratic Party.
To do what?
To keep status quo.
For who?
For the rich.
Got it.
Notice the tax cuts keep coming and they keep passing. Under Obama, the Bush tax cuts became permanent.
Right.
The biggest tax cut just happened. If anything got done with everything that's happening in the United States, they made sure that tax cuts were done.
Right.
Nothing else has been done yet. And we keep giving our vote to these people.
Well, I'm not going to. I don't care who gets mad, who don't like it. I'm not going to. I honestly am to the point to where I would just sit out. I mean, it's like you're not gonna force me. Been there, done that before.
Well,
you're not gonna force me to go for the lesser two evils.
Right. My thing is, I right now I still support Andrew Yang. If I'm a vote, I'm gonna vote Andrew Yang. Does he have a chance in hell winning? No. But I'm gonna vote, and that's who I'm gonna vote for.
I honestly, because people ask me, who do you like? I'm still looking, but I like Andrew Yang. He's not offering reparations, but some people argue that getting $1,000 to $2,000 a month is a form of reparations.
It'll make a difference.
If we spend it right. Like, I know $1,000 extra a month for me. Shit, I'd always be on vacation some damn where. I mean, I'm just saying, you know.
Right. And for me, that's investment money there.
Yeah, you know, or whatever. You know, you can eat a little bit better if you want to. You know.
Exactly.
I'm starting to look at Elizabeth Warren. You know, because I say Elizabeth Warren because she, even before the reparations thing became popular, if you will. She was talking about it. Not only is she talking about it, but she has a deep understanding for why we actually need it and what happened and all that. It's not just, well, yeah, I agree with reparations. She's actually well versed on the issues. Well, I like Marianne Williamson.
Yeah, I like Marianne Williamson. People say that she was high or something like that.
I mean, well, hell, maybe the presidents need to be high. You know, woosah. You know, you want somebody who's, you know, all tense with their finger on the button. Nah, you need something like on people who are asleep, if you will, listening to Marianne Williamson, you think, oh, she's tripping. She's tripping on that mean shit. You know, she's tripping balls or whatever. But if you really are awake and you listen to what she's saying, she is making a lot of sense. She's talking about, you know, solving issues with love. Anybody who follows the Bible, goes to church, or knows the laws of the universe, it does talk about love being the most important thing. And right now, especially at the White House, ain't none of that going on.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So
that's why those three people are interesting to me.
So let me ask you this. If the nominee, whoever the nominee is, which they're going to, like I said, the only reason they got all these people in there is so that Bernie doesn't get the nomination.
And so what's his name? Sewell, he dropped out yesterday.
Yeah, he dropped out yesterday. He had no chance in hell.
Right.
But, you know, that's just to cut up the nomination and stuff like that. Will you support the Democratic nominee?
Depending on who it is. I'm not going to support it.
If it's Kamala.
No.
If it's Bernie.
No.
If it's Biden.
No.
Well, there are your choices right there. Because that's who they keep pushing.
Well, then that's what it's going to be. I mean, and I think, honestly, if anybody had a chance to beat Trump, it would probably be Biden.
You think so?
I think so.
But the thing is, are you beating him or are you just replacing him with a more moderate asshole? Business as usual.
Yeah. But, you know, I'm using the term beating because that's what everybody is saying. We just need, I don't care who it is, we need somebody to beat Trump. But he gets in there and does. Yeah, but that's what I'm asking. So what if that anybody turns out to do the same thing or some of the same things? Okay, how about this? That anybody that gets in the White House, what if they get in there and continue to not do stuff for black people? How did we get help other than just moving Trump out of there? Because like I said, I'm not a Trump fan at all. I think he's a douchebag. I keep saying that. Probably should find a better word. But, you know, he is, you know, he has that, what is it, the second chance program where, you know, they're starting to free a lot of black people from prison, this, that, and the other. So is it monumentous? No, but it's something. So I guess the point that I'm making is, I'm not willing to vote for somebody just to get in there, just to get rid of Trump, and then that person doesn't do anything for black people either.
Right. 8 years of Obama, we didn't get a damn thing.
Right. So, I mean,
person of color.
We'd be better off just working on ourselves. You know, whoever's in the White House, let them duke that out. But we don't continue to be used by those people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In the second hour, what are we going to talk about?
We're going to want to go to Disneyland?
No. I remember my mom used to work there.
Okay, we're going to talk about Disneyland.
Because it used to be the happiest place on earth. Now I heard it's just...
I mean, I'd be unhappy having to pay, what is it, $100 to $200 to get in there?
It's $125 here in Anaheim just to get parking and to walk through the gate. $125, that's what you're looking at. Not including food, not including gifts or anything like that, and all that other stuff. So
no.
A day at Disneyland is going to cost you at least $200
it won't cost
per
me
person.
I bet you it won't be me.
That's why I haven't gone in a minute.
I haven't been since my daughter was 3, and that was 23 years ago.
I used to go when they used to give the free military tickets. They don't even give the free military tickets anymore. So, All right, we're gonna you guys stand by in the second hour. We will be back, and Demetra will kick it off. We'll see you guys real quick.
Peace.